it all from the start. Change the way that I perceive the night. There's no wrong or doing right as long as you can seize the fire. So let me love you while the moon is out. Bring it like nobody else. Only you can do this with my body. Your skin on mine is raising hell. Since you got into my life, I've been losing sleep. You're rushing through me like a bump of adrenaline. Since you got into my life, I've been losing sleep. You're rushing through me like a bump of adrenaline.
Gentlemen, welcome back to Positive Perception Season 9, Round 2 at Suzuka with myself, Alex Newman/Taylor, and joined here with Ryan Walker here. Say hello.
Evening, everyone. Evening, Alex. It's good to be back for another round of the championship.
Good to be back as well. I've not been in the comms box for ages. It's a 1 hour race again today. I think it's 30 minutes qualifying. And I think it's 20 minutes pit stop, tire, and fuel today. So we got to see it all, and a chance for rain as well, which we haven't seen it in probably a month and a bit. Rain in the Positive Perception series, but it might be good fun.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been reports of rain on the server during the week as well. So as you see right now, it's dry at the moment, but you know, in the ACC, anything can happen, and as soon as they go to the grid for the race, it could start raining maybe halfway around the formation lap. So it's something for these drivers to keep an eye on, and also it's one of those things. What do you do with the setup? Do you go with a wet setup and hope it rains, or do you go with a dry setup and they take that risk of it maybe possibly raining in the race, and you're stuffed?
It's not a Suzuka race without rain, let's be honest. I don't think I've ever seen a Suzuka race without rain. Today might be a first, but yeah, it's something I don't like Suzuka personally myself. I don't know about you, Ryan, but I've never got along with the track. I think it's too complicated, and it's just, yeah, I just don't like the track. What's your opinions on it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those Marmite tracks, Suzuka. You either love it or hate it. But for me, from my experience, I've always enjoyed racing around here because it's a fun challenge. It's a technical track as well, and especially through the tight twisty section after turn 1 and 2, where it's you kind of let the car do its thing. You let it roll, and it's one of those sections as well that can either make or break your qualifying lap.
Definitely can. The S is probably one of my favorite corners though. Even though I hate the track, I do love the S's. Unless it's in the GT4, then it goes downhill. Obviously, we've only got a few minutes left of free practice, and then we'll be straight back on to the action in Suzuka today. Thinking about tire wear today. If it's an optimum track, which it usually is, and we see rain just after pit stops, there's going to be a chance of a 2-stop strategy if the rain decides to do its thing, which is going to slow drivers down more. It depends how well they've, I guess, planned out their strategy, but I have a feeling a lot of people have only planned for a 1-stop strategy instead of the worst case scenario of rain.
Yeah, it's one of those it's one of those things as well that we've obviously, there could be a chance of rain. It throws a strategy in there. What do you do with regards to the strategy? Do you kind of stick with the strategy or the plan that you've got or came up with, or do you just throw it out the window and kind of just play it by ear and just try and wing it? I think that'll be interesting to see, especially up at the front as well with regards to the drivers up at the front. Will they try and stick it out, or maybe if they see a spot of rain, they say maybe within the first 10 or 20 minutes, will they try and maybe dive into the pits and change tyres and take a risk?
We have seen today pretty big gaps in between drivers, which isn't usual because I wasn't here for the first round, so I can't say from this round, but from this season, sorry. But last season, it was very close in between drivers, but it seems it's kind of been gapped a bit if there's been a gap in practice and there's just been... I know Mark Radberry, I hate to call him out here, he said he was not enjoying this track and he wasn't great at it, he said. That's his words, not my words before people start accusing me of calling him bad, because I know he's faster than me, but yeah, it might be a bit more of a lapping race today. I feel like we're going to see huge gaps in between cars, but hopefully it's going to be some close racing, if so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Suzuka, from my experiences, it's a fun track, but it's a track that you can't really, well, you can pass, but there's not really many passing opportunities, especially in that first sector. I think, as you see here, you've got the Casio Triangle chicane where you can try and make moves if you get a good run through 130R, but you've got to be very careful or very precise with your move. Otherwise, it can go horribly wrong. But I think qualifying as well is going to be the absolute key around here tonight.
Definitely, but I feel, yeah, qualifying is always important. It's definitely more important when it comes to GT3s than, let's say, Formula One, because Formula One has so many more overtaking advantages, such as, I guess, DRS, ERS, and it's better slipstream as well. But GT3s are always, in my opinion, better to watch. I've watched many races of GT3 in real life and in game. But I just feel like Suzuka, yeah, as you said, Suzuka isn't great for passing, but it could be worse. It's tracks like, I don't know many bad overtaking tracks, but I know Indianapolis is quite a bad overtaking track, as it saves. Driver briefing has just ended now, as I see a lot of people dipping out of the driver briefing. I just want to, what do you think the predicted pole time is going to be today?
Oh, that's a tough one. I can't remember what a lap time is. What kind of times they'll be doing around here, because I've not raced around here, I've not raced around here for quite some time. But I think, yeah, would it surprise me if you see the likes of maybe the likes of Miles Dixon up there as well? Maybe possibly even maybe someone even like Richard Pixley, for example, who's always, from my time of watching in the commentator on ACC, he's always been a really quick driver, and it could be one that you could be one to keep an eye out for tonight.
I feel like a predicted time tonight would probably, well, especially like the top guys like Miles Dixon's, as you said, Richard Pixley, aiming probably for, I don't know if the Richard Pixley is still in the Nissan, but I feel like we might see 58s, depending if it's optimum track or not.
Yeah, I think that's a good point as well. I think it depends what the track conditions are. If it's a green track at the start of qualifying, obviously I doubt it'll be that, because obviously we've had the practice going on as well. So the track could be rubbered in. So if it's an optimum track state, I would think 58 sort of possibility for sure. Or even if people really hook it up and keep it clean, a 57 could be on the cards.
Yeah, I think you're right. Just gotta quickly go over to the YouTube chat saying evening to Daniel Crinton, and then Road to F1's also known as Freddy, annoying my autocorrects. Hope all is well, as we've got quite a few people watching already, which is good to see, as we're just looking at track views currently, and it's just me and Ryan talking while we wait for the scenes to switch over. I think it's about time it switches over in the next minute or so. It's spiking up a lot more here, going up to about 10 viewers now, which is great to see, obviously. Second race now, and over into qualifying now. As we see so many cars go out already, I already see miles out already. So it seems optimum track, quite high track temperature, which could lead to a lot of oversteer and highway. If this continues during the race, we might definitely see a fall of pace from drivers, depending on how well they are with tire management.
Yeah, and that's the thing with ACC now, especially on this. Excuse me, it's a I believe 1.9 version of ACC. Unlike the past, you couldn't really push every, or you could push every lap, I should say, but on this 1.9 version, you've got to be more careful of the tires. You've got to look after them as well, especially if the track temperatures starting to get really high, because the tires can take a pounding, and if you push too much or overdrive, and you just ruin your tires, and you're just kind of you're on the back foot in a way. But as everyone's out in qualifying at the moment, and they actually talking about the Nissan GTR, Ritzer Pixley looks like he is sticking with it, and they have to say that Wild Fin's livery on that Nissan GTR looks absolutely fantastic.
I'll be honest, I don't think the GTR is capable of a 58. The driver is 100% capable of a 58, but the car, I seems a lot of the older cars now have been neglected by, as we see two classics next to each other, the V12 and the R35, right next to each other. But yeah, I seem they have been like neglected. Like I used to always drive the Lexus before 1.9, but then it kind of just died. Kind of the same with these cars, but it seems these cars are doing better than the last cars, like Lexus, the old Bentley, and everything like that.
Indeed, and looking at the Ivo Van Collenberg coming across the line as well to start his qualifying lap. It'll be interesting to see what sort of time he can do racing in the silver class. And yeah, quite like that livery as well. Looks nice and simple as it comes through turn 1 and 2, and they run slightly wide on the entry to turn 2. And turn 1 and 2 is one of those corners or sections that you've got to really nail, because you've got to carry that speed through the S's as well, because it can make or break your lap time. But yeah, it looks like it's, apart from that, it looks like it's relatively clean at the moment, and they coming up through this difficult left-hander is again he runs wide, and they pretty much not a good start to his qualifying.
It's kind of bad. He's ruined the opportunity that not many people are gifted with, which is clean air, especially during such a rammed track. Even though it's not, I know you can get over 100 cars on this grid, but still 40 odd cars on this grid is still a lot to manage when it comes to qualifying. He seems to be quite lucky. There's a few other cars that have quite a big gap in between each other, but the last thing you want to do is catch up with another car during your like fastest lap. The worst feeling ever.
Yeah, especially around the Suzuka. It's one of those tracks where you pretty much need clear air most of the time, because, like you say, loads of cars on track, and everyone's kind of jockeying for position on track to get some clear space. Yeah, it looks like I don't think Ivo will be very happy with his first qualifying lap, because from my experience, or what I like to do, is try and nail that qualifying lap first time around if I can, just to make sure I've got a banker lap in, because you never know with the track conditions. The track could get slower, or maybe other drivers might try and take advantage of the track getting faster, when other drivers have maybe finished a qualifying lap, or just have not done as well. As looking at Mark Roddenberry, they coming through the chicane now, and currently in 10th place, but it looks like he's on a decent lap, and it could leapfrog him up into the top 5 possibly. As actually, as I take that back, he comes across the line to start a qualifying. Actually, I take that back again. He's set a qualifying lap, but it's only a 2:03.
We start to see everyone's baseline laps starting to come in, and we're already at a 2-minute flat, which is great to see, but definitely going to go higher in the order of times. As we see, Daniel Crinton says you can get 100 cars around Weather should be different question. Nordschleifer, on the other hand. Yes, there has been rumours now that ACC will be adding Nordschleifer. We don't know if it's confirmed. There's just been a lot of rumours, especially in the Posber team chat. Everyone's kind of excited about it if it does happen, but I have a feeling, I don't know how well the suspension physics will work when it comes to Nordschleifer, because obviously you have the drops and stuff, you have the, what people like to say, airtime. I don't think these cars will like very much just because of the suspension and tire physics in Unos's ACC.
Yeah. Me personally, I do hope that the Nordschleifer does come to ACC, because it's one of those tracks that I've always enjoyed lapping around on other platforms, and I think with these cars as well, I think it would be a fun challenge. But like you say, I think I don't know if the suspension physics might need to a bit of a rework, or maybe I don't know if it will happen. If the ACC or Kuros might try and make make a specific track, maybe not downforce the package as such, but maybe like suspension package for racing around the Nordschleifer.
Apparently they've only just got their new one, which everyone's been. It's a very Marmite track, I would say. Not track, suspension physics, because a lot of people say it's definitely better than 1.8, but I've also seen people say it's worse than 1.8. Personally, I was a lot quicker when it came to 1.8 physics, but it's more realistic. So we also see now John Gray now apparently 7 attempts up already on this time. Where will this put him so far? Is he's currently going to go up into P2, but 3 tenths off the Ferrari of is just. I'm not even going to attempt. Is
Salovich, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't worry. I've mispronounced Adam's second name many times. So yeah, join the club. It looks like Leighton Austin is on track for pole position as well, and it looks to be a good lap.
Has lost time though, which might not put him into pole position as he goes up only into 4th place, even though he was predicted for a pole position. But it's Jay Brooker though is 1 second up on his time, but will this be enough? It won't be enough so far for a pole position, but if he can gain a few more tenths, just salvage them anyway, he might be able to get that provisional pole. You see, Adam Izalovich is the only one who's into the 59 so far. It is definitely going to be close indeed. He comes across the line right now, only for P2, but just over a tenth off Adam's time. But it's already good to see some people are in the 59s. Obviously, the predicted times we said were 58, which for the first few laps it's looking good for a 58. Because I don't know if it's true for ACC, but real life GT3 is usually the 2nd to 3rd lap is usually the fastest and the optimum for tires. Adam is again 3 tenths up already, which I don't know how he's done this so far. I know it's the Ferrari and all. The Ferrari is absolutely great around here. I don't know about you, Brian. How do you feel about the Ferrari and its feeling? Because I feel like it's quite bad around Spa, but it's mastered at tracks, but it's not to the point where Bop is going to change it.
Yeah, I think I've not really done that many races with it, but it's a fun car. But I've always felt it gets overused. I think just too many people use it just because when it comes to the BOP and BOP, I know it's a subject that some people like to discuss, some people hate it, and me personally, I've never been a fan of going for the quickest or using the quickest car. I've always preferred a car like the BMW because I've always found the car to be real stable when it comes to driving over curbs. As it looks like James Jackson's coming through 130R as well, and looks to be a decent lap at the moment that he's on. I think this might is a 2nd up as well, so he could if he keeps us clean, and he could leap himself up into the top 10 or at least into the top 15.
Yeah, we'll see right now as for Positive Perception Racing, one of the drivers goes up into P11, not quite enough for P10, just behind Leighton Austin. Leighton needs to be on high alert to keep off James Jackson at the moment. Leighton will probably climb up a lot more because I've seen a lot of his races. Leighton is quick. especially in the Ferrari. He's good friends with the Ferrari, we'll say. I think Miles Dixon here is improving, I want to say, but just off the fastest lap time. This could be a battle between Adam and Miles, as we were predicting earlier. Obviously, he's still got the spoon, 130R and the chicane, all to go left. There's so much margin for error in just so little time. It's probably less than a minute left of his lap time, as he's now being held by traffic. This is not going to be good, as Carianis seems to go left into a straight, and he is given a lot of damage there. I feel like Miles has lost quite a lot of time being behind. Lost half a second. Isn't, as we were talking about earlier on, traffic is the worst feeling when it comes to qualifying. It's horrendous when you're like on a faster lap and you've got a slower car in front of you. It's just the worst, but obviously you can't do much when there's over 40 cars on the grid. You can't expect everything good to happen during your races. We see 2 pole cars here as Miles does improve, but only to P3, as we see the top 3 are split by just over a 10th, which is great to see.
Yeah, that's still a decent lap by Miles. He lost a little bit of time, but yeah, I think having traffic in front of him through that double left-hander was not the most ideal thing for him to happen. But still up into the P3 and only just over a tenth off I was going to say off Adam, but it looks like we've got a new leader up at the top of the board.
As we've got Matthewson, who's actually been in the comms box with me before. He is definitely a quick driver. As we now into the mid 59s with 8 minutes to go, I feel like we are probably going to see a 58, which is alien time in my opinion. The highest I've got is just a low 59, but that's a one-off anomaly.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you see a low 59 towards the end of qualifying. As I look at Miles Dixon again, and Miles has got a clear track this time around, so I wonder if this could be the lap to snatch away that pole position.
Could be Miles. Is definitely that. Miles has stated he doesn't actually practice for events. He just turns up, which is very soul destroying when he manages to put it pole position most times. As we see, the top 7 are actually sub 2 minutes now, which is getting close. Yeah, the top 8 are all split between 4 tenths, 5 tenths of a second, which it's a lot closer now than it was during, what was it, free practice, as we see. Don't know what color. I think that might be the Porsche of, I couldn't see that Porsche well enough to actually know who it was. Porsche just carrying chicane, not getting a valid lap there. But he gets pole as we're now into the low 59s. I don't expect much more from Miles Dixon, to be honest. He's just such a fast driver when it comes to stuff as well. Mark Cooper now. He's not on his Red Bull livery now. He's 7 tenths up. This could possibly put him P13, P12, just behind Leighton. If it might actually put him higher. As he goes P11, as I just said, around, as it seems, Leighton isn't getting a time in yet, which I'm kind of surprised about. So there's a few pulse drivers that are actually off today, so it's not going to be a pulse domination today, it seems. So Hex has got a challenge. I'm seeing 2 Hex drivers in the top 4.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that the Porsche is not further up at the front. I thought the Porsche would have suited this track with the rates of some of these corners, and also it's very good over the curbs. But I think yeah, it's mainly down to the track having some straights as well, where the Porsche is quite known for not being the quickest car in a straight line. But hopefully some of the Porsches can get closer to the front. As I look at Chris Jenkins coming through 130R and heading up to the Casio Triangle chicane, and this probably one of the trickiest corners for me, because you want to try and brake late, but if you miss your braking point ever so slightly, you can cost yourself time. But it looks like Jenkins is coming across the line, and it looks to be a decent lap, and I think he could possibly improve. He's 18th at the moment, and jumps up to 14th.
it's still crazy to think the 2-minute deads are only up to P14. That just tells you the circle of influence of just the times here today is a lot of people are now into the 59s, which is great to see. I think, yeah, everyone up to P7, P8, P7 are all into the 59s already, as we might see Miles get into the 58s, as I've somehow been obsessed with saying the word 1 minute 58 today. I apologize for that. But track temperature has decreased a bit as we see Richard kind of just clips on the grass. I think that might have been intentional though to go off, but back on board with Colin. Collenberg was, if I'm right, he was P1 for a bit. I mean, he's dropped down to P11. I think it was just because of provisional, but it's not looking the greatest for him so far. Harry, though, it seems he is. I've not heard of Harry before. I think it's a new driver for season 9, but he seems to have. He's on for a decent lap so far. He's currently only 6 tenths off Miles Dixon, but he might be able to improve it. He might even go into the 58s. We could see. I haven't seen this driver before, so I can't judge his driving skills from previous ones. Okay, 3 times up, so it's not currently going to be enough for him to become P1, but it might be enough for P3. Maybe, unless he gains a bit more, he could go P2. You never know. We never know.
Yeah, you never know as he heads up to 130 yard now and his clips inside curve and he might he's just lucky to get away with not running wide and invalidating his lap, but coming through the Casio triangle chicane and looks like yeah, it still looks like a decent lap, but he might have lost a little bit of time through 130 yard there. Like just that slight clip of the curve on the inside with through 130 yards, just he does improve, but it's not enough to improve his position.
See a lot more people in the YouTube chat now. Hello, Yoram. You should be qualifying if I should know so myself. Not go faster than a V12. That's constantly on the max. This is what I was saying earlier about the older gen cars are pretty vulnerable right now. But Russell Matthews, I'm sorry to interrupt with that. He might be able to go for P1. As we see, he doesn't improve, but it's 8 thousandths of a second between them both. As we could see a lot of battles here. It's probably going to be a strategy pit if they're at the same pace. It's going to be pit strategies, hopefully to win, because could go for the undercut, overcut, everything to see. As we've got 2 minutes left, we might not see a 58, sorry, at this rate, but it's still good to see how many people are so close in times.
Absolutely, and I think yeah, talking about strategy as well. If you qualify further back in the field, maybe round about the mid pack, it might be worth pitting early as soon as the pit window opens, and they maybe trying an undercut. They see if you can try and gain some track position and get some clear air. But as you look at John Gray coming up to 130 yard now, and they currently racing the Lambo as well, as they again clips that inside curve as well, and it makes the car is about 6 tenths up as well. So yeah, if he can keep this up, he'll get jump himself up the grid massively.
When he put himself up to P3 if he can form this lap correctly, which it seems he might be able to. We'll see as he crosses the line around. Now he puts himself up to P5, meaning he lost a bit of time going through the chicane. But going back to strategies, we always plan them, but they never go right. Because obviously you have sometimes the inedible, I can't say that word for some reason now, crash. Sometimes that happens. And some people, when they crash, they've got damage, so they just go to the pits, do their mandatory pit stop, and just go for the way.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You could have a strategy set in stone, or not set in stone, but you have a strategy set in mind that you might go with. But Suzuka as well, obviously, one of those tracks that's so easy to get caught up in a lap one rep, just because through the S's especially, and into that hairpin, you've got everyone so bunched up, it causes a bit of a bottleneck or a concertina effect, and just sometimes whatever happens is not, it can be get out of your control. It's always like Dixon on a good lap. Oh, he was on a good lap, but he's being held up by traffic, and yeah, I don't think Miles Dixon will be particularly happy with that.
You see the Mercedes there, I think that's the SGs. I don't know what team that is. It seems not there, but he might go into a 58 here. It's looking good currently. He goes on the inside, just knowing it's his last lap, and will probably be his last lap. 58.8. I have a feeling that will be whole time today, unless someone just manages to pick it out, because we know Adam here is a very fast driver and very capable of doing high times. If he can get 7/10 in the bag, we don't know. Tony needs to find half second. That means he's only 2/10 up on his time currently, so he might not be able to do it. Only 2 corners left. You can't really gain that much time from these corners. So as it sits, Miles is currently in pole position, followed by Russell, Matthewson, and Voynich. I apologize if I say anyone's name wrong. I'm English. I can't say. I just can't read in general. But as it stands, this is going to be the top 3. Yeah, as we predicted, 58s are the times, as everyone is starting to cross the line now.
Looking at Thomas van der Stroes as well, and they coming through 130R, and yeah, everyone's clipping that inside curve, and I think it's one of those, you can't get away with clipping it, but you've got to have the car set up really perfect with regards to suspension or dampers to get away with it. And it looks like Thomas is coming round the final, well, round the final corner, round onto the home straight. He might improve slightly as he comes across the line. Currently 8th, and I think that's about up to P6.
Great improvement there from Thomas. But yeah, I feel like with the inside curb, sometimes if the setup is done correctly, it can give you more rotation into the corner. But it seems, yeah, everyone is clipping that inside curb, so it's definitely giving them more rotation into the corner, causing less risk of invalidation. You see the Mercedes not having the best time, that Mercedes there. So we're on board with Miles now. Is he going to improve? Currently in 8th. Is he going to steal the position of Thomas, as he did recently, going across the line? Now he goes into P5, just above John Gray, as that was a pretty intense qualifying session, if I say so myself.
Yeah, that was a really close session. Positions changing all the time. Times being improved all the time, and as you predicted, Alex, a 158 was on the cards, and Miles Dixon, thankfully, made sure that your bet was correct.
I should have bet on money for that. I could have been a millionaire. Now going on, we have that a bit of waiting time now, as we could show potentially the standings currently, as we've only had one race so far, so everything's a bit bunched up. We're going for the AM standings here. Simon Carson with 30 points, followed quite closely behind with Andy Hastings with 26 points, P3 with Ricardo Masseria, 24 points, Harry just basically behind with 2 points. It seems there is a bit of a pattern there. It's pretty much all in 2s there. So got Nick again 2 points behind with 20 points. Michael de Groot just behind with 1 point, and then Opal with 18. We go into the silver standings now. There's a lot more silvers than there are AMs this season, which is good to see. Got Colin Burke 30 points, Liam Knott 26 points, Justin with 24 points, Remco 22, Mark Neuterlings with 20 points, Chris Jenkins with 19, followed closely behind with Craig Hewlett with 18, also very close behind with Joran Omlo in the V12 Beasts, 17 points, Robert Besson very closely behind once again, 16 points, and Amido, I think it is, with 15 points. Thumbs up silvers and pros. Miles Dixon currently P1 as it stands, followed very closely behind with Joglis with 26. Russell Matthewson, as we saw in the qualifying, 24 points. Marcus Hagel, who's not here today unfortunately, 22 points. Adam followed closely behind with 20 points, with Damien with 19 points. Very close between them two is Dusan with 18 points, Richard Pixley 17 points, Ollie 16 points, and Ashley Coupland with 15 points. I mean, it certainly is very, very, very close when it comes to standings, but it's only been a race, so we can't say anything as we just saw a horrendous joke there from Freddie there saying, "What do you call a deal with no eyes? No idea." Yeah, that is you when it comes to racing, Freddie. But yeah, it's very close once again. But hopefully it keeps up with this season. Hopefully we could see like a 2021 Abu Dhabi moment, or just a 2021 season of F1 where it goes down to the last race. Hopefully not safety car, which we don't have safety cars on this. But it would be quite cool to see something like that.
Yeah, I wonder. I better not say that in case I triggered anyone. I was going to say we should get Michael Massey to run race control.
Yeah, that's probably a bad idea. But it seems Joran is not impressed with that joke. Joran, he's now your teammate. You're gonna have to cope with him, fortunately. But obviously, we've got that small gap of time now where just the drivers can rest a bit, get a drink if they needed to, just before the hour race, which basically means everything. Qualifying, if you do bad in qualifying, it doesn't matter that bad. But as we see, everyone's still doing the no idea joke. It's not getting any funnier, unfortunately, for me. But it's, yeah, obviously qualifying, if you mess up, it doesn't matter too bad, because obviously the race is the finale part of it, where we've seen drivers this season where you can go from 15th to 3rd. It's so unpredictable, because obviously you've got crashes that can happen, disconnect, anything, like run out of fuel. We've seen that as well last season, and just wheel issues in general.
Yeah, that's the thing with these races with pit stops as well. You might see some drivers try and maybe save some time in the pit stops by not taking as much fuel. I know from my experience of doing races on ACC, I like to put in the one lap extra fuel, extra lap of fuel, just to be safe. But you get some drivers that will take that exact amount of fuel and they risk it just to try and get some track position. But with that, sometimes you've got to do a bit of fuel saving, which can cost you some time and possibly lose you some positions towards the end of a race. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if some drivers maybe further back in the field maybe think about doing maybe pitting early and maybe just trying to get some clear track and put in some quick laps, try and jump some cars during the pit stop, as it looks like we're just about to head to the grid.
We're about to go for formation lap. We're gonna skip the pit walk today, as it's just not gonna work today, unfortunately. But race 1, and the only race, which I think that's a bug actually. It's supposed to say races, it's only one race, but that is ACC for you. It's not an ACC thing without bugs. But yeah, we've got an hour here. You've got to spend an extra hour with me. Unlucky. But predictions for the race. I always do this because I always like to see how. But obviously, don't give anyone the commentator curse, which I've seen to do quite a lot recently. But who do you think the top 5 might be? Just seeing on pace on what you've seen since round 1.
The top 5, that's a tricky one. I think if he can get away, I think Miles Dixon could be the one to win this race. But obviously, it's an hour long race and anything can happen. But top 5, I would probably go with Dixon, and then maybe go with a Salavat, and after that I'll go with Mattiasen in 3rd place. 4th place I'll go with Austin, and top 5 probably go with Gray, or if I was to say top 6, I would go with Gray in 5th, and then in 6th I would probably go with I'll just go with top 5 because there's so many quick drivers in the series. It's so hard to predict.
To be honest, yeah, that's exactly what I would put as well. As we see the 2 Pulse cars right next to each other. It's not a race when you see 2 Pulse cars next to each other. As we see, there's not as many Pulse cars on today as there are usually. But wait until next round, I guess. The entire grid's going to be Pulse and Positive Perception. That'd be a cool series. Pulse versus Positive Perception. With David in the car, will win. Honestly, I don't like long formation laps. It's definitely beneficial when it comes to tires and brakes. But I find them really boring, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm kind. I don't mind them as such. But for me anyway, from my experience, I find it gives me a chance to kind of just to settle down and relax and just to do some basically last second checks, make sure everything's okay, and just get it gives me a chance to get in that frame of mind and get into that mindset of getting ready to race. And you're probably some people are probably watching thinking, well, why are the drivers speeding up and then slowing down? It's just drivers maybe just trying to get some temperature into the brakes and get some heat. Because when you try and, from my experience, if you try and brake for the first corner with cold brakes, as Miles Dixon, I
I
don't
have a
know.
feeling Miles was on his phone then. I have a feeling Miles was on his phone.
I don't know if Miles was phoning for a takeaway or trying to drive off the bridge there, but yeah, every, uh, I made me chuckle a little bit. But yeah, everyone's trying to warm their brakes up, and braking for turn one with cold brakes is not the best experience. But as everyone starts to buds up, and this is the moment where some of these drivers are maybe starting to get a bit eager, a bit antsy to get going, and I think hopefully everyone's sensible on lap one. But as they come round the Casio Triangle chicane, uh, you're just about to get underway.
As we can see this once again, we might actually see a crash, as obviously we have that extremely bad turn one and turn two. And obviously the S's when people try to do four aside in the S's, as we are about to go green. That's not the line, that's the F1 line. About to go green in I'm gonna call it 3, 2. Okay, no, scrap that. Actually, no, I was far off. And we're about to go green in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Green lights now as Miles is already off in the way, as we see already about 4-way going into the first corner. Seems there's a few cars going onto the grass, and Miles has absolutely gapped the field already, as we see bound in P16. Everyone's now side by side. It seems so far it's been pretty clean, but obviously it is the first corner so far. We see, I feel like that's James Jackson's just going on the tail there of the Ferrari 296. It seems we've managed to do it pretty cleanly today. I feel like that's going to be very good for the incident report there, as we see the Garage 59 of Mike Comiskey, which I'm surprised he's in a Garage 59 car, as he's usually got his own custom liveries on. But Freddie saying perfect timing. I know I'm really good at timings, but obviously it's been so far clean. As I say that, I think we're about to see. Oh, that was a good save there from Mark Cooper. Mark Cooper being one of the admins here at Positive Perception. It's starting to settle down already, all of the high intense battles, but we're going to see some proper dive bombs, I feel.
Yeah, it's all come up to the hairpin now. Everyone's being a little well, not majorly cautious, but being very careful into the hairpin. And it looks like there's not been any issues into the hairpin by the looks of it. Everyone's made it through, but yeah, I got a feeling that some drivers might get impatient at some point during the race if they're being held up and maybe try and do a bit of a dive bomb there. But as I just looking throughout the field, looking at the Mark Roddenberry at the moment, currently down in P32, and I think he maybe just playing the waiting game, being careful and waiting for everyone just to settle down before trying to make positions.
You do see a lot of these cars have it's good to see everyone has a custom livery and not a carbon fiber livery today, because we've had issues with that in the past. Seems Adam is going to try look into turn one on Russell there, but I feel like it looks like Miles is already gapping quite considerably, as we see Adam might make a move into turn one there, but he's going to be sensible as he is quite far off. But we're going to probably see a lot of moves in the top three. Well, I'm just going to say 2 and 3. Yeah, because they were very close on pace. I think it was 8,000 for a second between both of them. Could be wrong there, but it seems yeah. Miles is already 1.6 seconds up the road compared to the others. It is all good there.
Indeed, look at Adam as well in third place and starting to close down on the Mathiasen as well. So I wonder if Adam gets the if he gets close enough or senses an opportunity and gets a run maybe down the home straight, he might try and make a move into turn one. But at the moment, it's been relatively clean. No major issues or major issues from what I can see. So it's good to see everyone's been nice and clean at the moment. And looking at Harry as well down in 8th place, and I have to say I do like that livery, but yeah, loads of good liveries come to think of it, and yeah, uh, yeah. Apart from that, Alex, there's not been any issues. What surprises me, because from the past, the Suzuka's always been a bit mayhem.
I always think of only one moment when it comes to Suzuka, and that's when I think it was got which driver. I forgot his name now. The F1 driver for Williams, the old one, Go Tiffy. That's it. But that's when he went down the wrong part of the track. I found that hilarious, to be honest. But that was me at 6 a.m. in the morning on my mind. As we see, I think a lot of on here with Yoran Omno with the great looking Positive Perception V12, the only V12, the bravest man here, I could say. There's a bit of Tokyo drift going through there. It seems P26 so far is pretty good for this old. It's actually 10 years old now, this car, thinking of it, which is crazy compared to some of these cars only being 2 months old. It's still managing to do pretty well, because obviously aero has improved a lot in 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you look at the latest Aston Martin Vantage, the V8, that's got loads more aerodynamic downforce, and probably it's a lot more quicker as well. So yeah, but I think in the right hands, the old Aston Martin can definitely be right up there. And as we ride on board of Dusan, probably butcher the second name, but anyway, but Vajanovic as well, currently in 5th place, and just watching the battle behind him. We've got a move into the hairpin, possibly by the looks of it, and a bit of contact.
Contact there through the Ferrari, and both the Ferrari of Leighton and the Ferrari of Duchan, I think it is. They're already side by side, but Leighton is not messing around, trying to get past just before the spins, because no one likes overtaking on the spins. But we see the Ferrari behind them, both of Harry trying to get this action, get past the red Ferrari there. So we see the red Ferrari does try to go on a move there, keeping his nose out. Leighton does give him room, but there's a bit of contact there, and it puts the red Ferrari off out a bit, and it's going to be 3 wide going in here. There's a sandwich there that is quite bad there for Harry, but luckily no one is injured during that, as we're going into our, I forgot what the corner's name is, but the fast right left-hander. I think it's left-hander, but everyone goes wide there. But it seems Leighton is live another day. Oh no, there's more contact going into there. Leighton absolutely does the center move there, and seems he is fine for now. It lives another day, but Harry is not letting this go on the red Ferrari there of Thomas. He's probably going to get past here before turn 1, as we're seeing the McLaren of Matt Comiskey as well as the pulse of Jurgulis as well. Oh, as they go side by side there, both of them, and it seems Harry is not messing around and goes past, as we see Matt Comiskey also challenging Thomas not having a break here, the three of them. What was your opinion on that then?
Yeah, that was a bit rough. That's for sure. Everyone, I don't know if I don't know how to describe those moments into the chicane. Everyone was getting a bit argy-bargy and rubbing each other up, but yeah, that was a bit chaotic, that's for sure. But yeah, that's what I said before. The Suzuka when it comes to battle packs as well, it can be a bit chaotic, and everyone's a bit feisty and trying to make track positions. As you look at this pack of cars heading up to the airpin.
8-way train.
It's an 8-way train. Yeah, absolutely.
This is going to be pretty bad here, as I'm gonna have to step away for 2 minutes. So if you can continue commentating for the next 2 minutes, that would be great.
Absolutely. As looking at the battle for 11th and 12th place at the moment, with Brooker and Copeland, sorry, as well. Like in 12th place, the Pulse Simsport driver stuck in this battle pack at the moment, and everyone's not really able to make any moves, because everyone's just stuck in a slipstream chain. And as you see this, look at the pack of cars heading up to 130R. That's just unbelievable, as it looks like Astley's trying to make a move on the Lamborghini, but the Lamborghini. Oh, they're going to go side by side through 130. Yeah, that'll be. Oh, that's that's a bit of that's a ballsy move, that's for sure. But it looks like they've got a move going on into the chicane as well. It looks like oh, so they've got a bit of a contact going on in the background as well. One of the, as we're just about to get a replay to see what happened as well, and it looks like a bit of side by side accident into the chicane, and it looks like oh, the McLaren caught the outside of caught the grass on the outside there, and it just caused him to get a bit sideways. But thankfully, no contact or major issues, and manages to keep going. But further down the field as well, we've got a bit of a bit of door banging as well between Simon Carson and it looks like Mark Nutlands as well. But further back up towards the front, they've got the John Gray catching up to Matthias in third place, and the field's starting to spread out slightly as well, which is a bit surprising considering that the Suzuka always seems to provide the great close battles as well. But heading up to the hairpin, it looks like everyone's just, well, up at the front anyway, decided to just ease it off and just just settle down.
Well, it's all about pace here, I think. There's still a huge train there going into the hairpin, going into spoons as well. So you see Miles is gapping already, but the top three are actually doing what I didn't predict, which I think some of them have found a lot more pace than the others. We see John Gray drifting into, saving it out of the wall there, but losing a position there to, I think that's Dusan Wojciech.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I always get the name wrong. Let's see, Harry is back on the tail there of Leighton. I feel like Harry might be able to get past, but he also has John Gray helping Leighton with, seems the battle actually. Never mind about helping. It seems there's going to be probably another train happening as John decides to not do the corner. But that's going to put less pressure on John, but that's going to put more pressure on Leighton because he has no slipstream compared to Harry, who has slipstream at the moment, which we might see another brave move from Harry here going into turn one, as it has happened, I think it's twice, but it seems Leighton is not going to fall for that move and lives another day.
Yeah, I think Leighton decided to just be sensible and let him go through, because obviously we've still got just under 50 minutes left in the race and plenty of time to regain regain positions rather. So yeah, better to be sensible and think of the long game, as it looks like Craig Hewlett in P23 just running a little bit wide into turn one and misses a turn for turn two as well. So yeah, apart from that, it was a bit chaotic in the early stages, but they've still got hard battling going on. But the race one, apart from that, it's been rather respectful.
Good to see. There have been a few little touches there, but nothing too major so far, which is good to see, as it's going to put a lot less stress on the stewards, as we do see Craig getting upon a lot of pressure there by Pagliara in the McLaren, as we see, I don't know whose car that is, but a Ferrari oversteering into the wall of Chris Jenkins there in the Hex, losing so many positions there. I think he just touched the Astro there. That caused him to spin out going into the final part of turn 8. No, he just loses it. I think he just, had an oversteer moment. Very oversteering car, as we know the Ferrari is. But that's not what you want to see. He's now being challenged by Mr. Joran Omlo in the V12 Glory. It seems Joran is not going to make the move going into spoons. But it's the worst feeling when you crash. But there's always a recovery, I feel like. As we see, Lisa Louise also gets a drive through there. I think that might already be from track limits, which is kind of surprising how you can get 3 track limits in 13 minutes, but I guess it's mainly because of predictability of other drivers. You see, Mido does just get a bit of oversteer there, but it seems to have a bit of contact here with McLaren. But whoa!
What? Yeah. Oh, that was
the ghost hit him. But I feel like that's what you call severe netcode. That is, I have a feeling someone might have quite high ping, but unless, I've got no words, to be honest. I've not seen anything like that.
Yeah, I'm a bit confused by that, but looking at the looking down at the pile as well, and they down in 30th position, and they yeah further back of the field, it's all rather just spread out slightly. Still plenty of battles going on, but yeah, that incident might have just been a case of a net code by the looks of it, and yeah, it does happen on the ACC from time to time. Because obviously, if you've got a high ping or someone else has got a high ping, it can cause a bit of issues. But as we look further up towards the front, looking at the battle for P5 and P6 between Gray and I was going to attempt that second name, but yeah, better not. But looking at the battle for P6, well, P5 and P6, and P7 and P8 and P9 in the background as well. Still got a bit of a train start going on at the moment, Alex.
Yeah, it's only 40 minutes into the race so far. Harry McQuillan is going to try and make a move there on John Gray there. Harry's, I have a feeling so far he is driver of the day. He has put so many moves in. I think he went from P9, P8, but he went, I think, up to P5 as well, but then lost the position. At the moment, he is challenging John Gray. John Gray, I've known, he doesn't crack under pressure that badly. But obviously, the slipstream is going to be Harry's best friend going into turn one. Seems turn one is where he does most of his moves at the moment.
Yeah, turn one, you can make a move, but you've got to be really close to the car in front as John goes defensive and a bit of a. I'm
Juke
not sure.
there.
I'm not sure if that was a bit of if that was a slight second move there by in reaction, which is in real life motorsport, the yeah making a second move in reaction it's not tolerated. So yeah, got to be careful of that. But yeah, I think great racing going on at the moment, and John Gray starting to. I was actually thinking John Gray. If this train gets any larger, we should rename him as a was it John Young or Truly Trained Gray.
That's probably got to be his new nickname on the server now, knowing you've just said that. I have a feeling, though, this... Oh, as we see someone goes on the forbidden AstroTurf. The AstroTurfs in this game are lethal if you go on it for too long while accelerating. You can say goodbye to a clean car, as we can say. It's John Gray now. Yeah, causing quite a big train as we see here. That is just what happens during racing. So see, I think it's a... What's that? A 6-car? Yeah, 6-car train. John Gray doesn't crack under pressure that badly. He's just got to get in his rhythm again. He's probably going to be pumping. Otherwise, Harry is going to try and make a huge dive bomb, as we've seen with him in the past. But he seems to do it quite safely for now.
Yeah, and I think the best opportunity to make a move around here is if you try and get a good exit on the exit of the chicane, try and carry that speed down the home straight. If you can get a good exit, you can carry that speed down the home straight, get a good run, and try and make a move into turn one. But you've got to be full alongside to get the move done. But as I come around now, it looks like Harry might have a good run here. But actually, as I say that, it looks like John's got a good run as well, and he just managed to stretch that gap. But as I say that, Harry looks like he's getting a move in the slipstream. Is he going to go for the move? He's going to try and go for it, and nope, can't. Not close. He's close enough, but just not full onside. As I say that, John Gray runs wide, and yeah, I think yeah, John Gray just too busy driving in his mirrors.
That's what we see quite a lot at the moment. But it's again, pressure. I mean, you don't want the car to overtake you, but you also want it to overtake you safely if it does. So it's always about predictability. But as we saw that running wide, as we see John Gray turning right into a left-hander, it seems. More oversteer there, as we might be able to see a replay of that in a minute. See, he's not moving at the moment either, as it sees. I think what happened? Oh, just snap oversteer, it seems. Going into the wall, that's gonna be a nice bit of damage, especially on the Lamborghini. How it's very reliant on the front bumper for aero and downforce. Let's get back on with Richard Pixie though, and Joran Omlo. Seems though John Gray is not having enough of that and his rage spurt from the session, unfortunately. Which isn't great to see, but it does happen, unfortunately. It does get you. Leighton Austin now seems to be the leader of the train. Leighton's very quick, but he's surrounded by quick drivers as well, which is basically what Pulse does. Pulse is very quick drivers, and they go for very quick. As you see, he's got to go make a move into Spoons there on think, oh, this is Ashley Coupland's here going on with Jurgulis there. That's not Jurgulis, that's Jay Brooker trying to make a move on Ashley Coupland there. You see, who's the other? There's also been an incident apparently, but I feel like it's probably a tiny bit of contact going in. I have a feeling I can predict where this is. As we see, someone says we need more Nissan in our lives. I agree with that 100%. That was yeah, pretty bad a camera angle for that, but it doesn't seem to be the worst amount of contact. Oh, it was pretty bad contact. That was. But it's good to see the other Porsche driver does wait for him and goes on a halt. But does go on a halt on. Oh, there's a follow up. Oh, that's still a bad rejoin either way. But as we can see, oh, going wide there into turn 1 again. We've seen a lot of going wide so far. I have a feeling tires might start to be taking a turn so far as the temperature is going up. But we have no signs of rain yet, do we, Ryan?
Yeah, just I was having a look. I don't see any signs of rain. It looks like hopefully I don't jinx it, but it looks like we might be in for a dry race. So if hopefully these drivers that are on dry setups, they're probably praying it's a dry race as well. As it looks like Thomas Van der Strauss has had an issue, and under the bridge, it looks like he might have I wonder if it's on the exit of the corner. Maybe just clipped the. Oh, he just lost it on the entry. But as I say that's a very good save. So 10 out of 10 for saving that.
Always good to see. In 1.8, you wouldn't have been able to save that, let's be honest. But as we see, Dushan is getting pressure from Harry. Harry is on fire today so far. Is he going to be able to make a move into turn 1 as he usually does, or is he going to do it before? Possibly just going to come off during the chicane. Or as it seems he might try to go side by side. It's very hard to predict because on the camera angles when you're chasing them, it's hard to predict how close apart they are. As we see contact in between both of them, as we might be able to get a replay there, but it seems Harry was just going a bit wide there, but he didn't wait either, so that is definitely probably going to be a penalty, worst case scenario. But it seems, oh yeah, it seems Harry did break a bit late, but it didn't, yeah, he didn't wait, which is going to be a bit of a penalty there for Dushan. Currently down in 9th place, as we see Matt Comiskey in the Garage 59, followed by Carson in the 296 as well. There's free train still, as we see. As we see, a very religious supporter of Dushan, Mr. I think that's Thomas Kinnell. I want to say, sorry, I apologise. So someone saying hello from Corfu. Sorry not to be here racing tonight. Corfu, that's a nice place to be. I've never been Corfu myself. Going back onto the action, James Jackson. Just putting pressure there. Oh yeah, that's not Matt Comiskey, I apologize. That's James Jackson in Positive Perception Racing. Dushan. Oh, as it seems Carson is going to try and make a move there. It's side by side there going into the turn, I think it's turn 6 and turn 7. There's nothing there to happen so far.
Yeah, it's a head. Excuse me, it's a head up to the hairpin, and yeah, Jackson doing well as well, running 10th overall, and just in front of him, he's got Vajinovics as well. So yeah, he's doing well in the top 10, keeping up with some of these quick guys in front of him, and just behind him as well. He's got the AM class leader as well, with Carson just behind him in 11th overall. So yeah, Carson having a good race overall, and currently leading the class.
I have a feeling Carson might be promoted pretty soon at this rate. He's currently what seems to be about 7 seconds up the road to P2 in AM's class so far. Saying that though, Miles Dixon is 5 seconds ahead of Adam now, between the top as we see on board with him now. Miles has some pretty good setups, but also Adam probably has pretty good setups as well. But it's all about management now. If Miles keeps it at this rate, he's probably going to have a safe pit stop. With a margin, he has a small gap for margin for error, but it's down to pit stops. We might start seeing the pit stops in the next 2 minutes. I would usually pit around the halfway mark just to balance tire wear, and I would usually go lower fuel for the start of races as well. This is actually, so we actually have seen a few pits so far. Liam not here, the highest driver who's actually pitted so far, and P31, but I feel like he's going to undercut quite a few people so far. Down first, we see Dushan there. Still getting pressure there from James Jackson, but right behind him as he gets a bit oversteery there, but the same with James Jackson there, but Carson is looking to make a move quite soon now on James Jackson, as we see.
Yeah, and some of the people that you've noticed that are pitting early, actually, well, I'll come back to that in a second, because it looks like the P8 has got a drive-through penalty. Jurgelis in P8, and I think that's for the dreaded. I don't want to say it, but I think that's for the dreaded track limits. ACC, if you're not aware, if you go off the track too much, you can pick up too many off tracks or off track warnings, and if you get too much of them, you get a drive-through penalty. And unfortunately, I think he might have just found it out
The hard way. Speed tokens is all I like to call it, and a lot of other people call it. But yeah, it's a dreaded thing, especially around here, Spa, and I think Indianapolis is pretty bad when it comes to track limits as well. It's just such a bad penalty. I don't like track limits.
Yeah, it's a very touchy subject for some people. I find some people don't mind track limits, but other people, yeah, most of the time, other people they seem to complain about them just because they can't stop running wide and getting warnings. But it's one of those things. But yeah, penalties are too unfair, as our director just said as well. But I guess it's a Marmite subject. People love them or hate them. But
no one loves track limits. It's a very hate subject.
It's one of those things. You've got to discipline yourself not to keep running wide and just kind of not push too much. But as we see, Jurgelis coming out of the pits and his drive-through has been cleared and he's slowing down. So I thought he was slowing down to quit the race, but it looks like he was just letting some cars go by, and I think he'll be feeling that slight frustration now.
You definitely will. Matt Comiskey still not letting go of Leighton there. It's starting to. It's coming to that part of the race where packs are starting to become smaller and smaller. But luckily, it's such a large field tonight. We won't start missing action and having to waffle, hopefully. But it's halfway through the race. Not a lot of people have pitted so far, so I feel like the undercut would probably be prime around now if anyone was to start going in. That orange one that you see on the left-hand side of the timing board is people who have pit stops to complete, and if you don't see a one there, it means they have completed their pit stop. Saying that though, actually, as we see, the highest person who has pitted so far is still Liam Knott in P30. It seems the Hex drivers, Groot and Piglet, as we just seen the McLaren, who was actually quite high up, is also just, as we see, James Jackson is going to start getting the pressure there from Carson. Carson is not letting this go, as we also see Ashley Coupland right behind, going side by side.
Oh, Carson making a move.
It's going through there, but Ashley Coupland is going to take this as an advantage. Seeing both of these lose time from this, but it seems James Jackson might be able to make side by side there, but Ashley Coupland is going to take this as an advantage, taking James Jackson on the inside, possibly going to have a drag race there into turn one. But as it seems, it's now too wide. There's a bit of contact there, as Ashley Coupland is not giving that up, but James Jackson is also not giving that up, and it seems as Ashley has the inside going into those corners, he has made the move successfully. But Carson has gained quite significantly doing that, gained over probably about probably 2/10 from that. But Ashley Coupland is now in his rhythm. Ashley is known to pit in last second. I don't know if he's going to pit last second today, but he is known to have hit last second quite a few times. Oh, yeah, we see even more action. Sorry to interrupt there, but John Gray there. That's not John Gray. Who was that? Jay Brooker, sorry. John Gray unfortunately retired early into the race. James Jackson just got taken advantage of that and lost so many positions there on that small train, as we see another little train forming behind them as well.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up as well. It's like Brooker's on a bit of a scrap as well, and Carson's still doing well in 8th place overall and still leading the AM class. And Brooker's leading the silver class as well, so a good run for him as well. And currently just actually inside the top 10 as well as Brooker. So yeah, Carson getting a bit scrappy as well. I'm surprised he's been very scrappy trying to stay ahead because he is leading his class, and the next car behind him to my nine, and they currently down in not eighth place, 18th place overall with way down the order or way behind him. It's almost like Craig Hewlett's has had an issue.
Seems like Richards has made a bit of contact there with him going into Spoons as it's a sideswipe incident there. Will Richards wait for him? This is the thing. This is quite a strict rule when it comes to that. And it seems he did wait for him, which is good to see. And it's all back as we see a huge train here now spawning. We do see the Porsche there of Jurglis just getting by Mike Richards there. And now it's going to be the two Porsches and the McLaren and the Ferrari all fighting there. So it's all going to be around. I feel like the Porsche is going to lose a lot of time here on the straight, but it's probably not going to be a much as it could be. As Lisa said here, that she has pulled out of the race. Watching the stream. Good to see you though, Lisa. Good to see you. Might see a bit of a fight here between Craig. As it seems everyone's going into pit now, as it's now the halfway mark of the race, so everyone's going to be dashing into the pit, as we'll see over the next few minutes. There is no pit window for this race, so you can pit as early or late as you want during this race.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it wouldn't surprise me if some people put at the halfway mark with 30 minutes remaining, or maybe try and go as long as possible, maybe try and wait until maybe 25 minutes or even 20 minutes remaining. But I think it depends where you are on track. If you're being held up in a battle or held up in a pack, it's not always a bad thing to maybe pit before them and get some clear air. But still, we've got loads of people to make their pit stop. So I wonder if some drivers, maybe even some drivers that are stuck in the mid pack, might try and go as long as possible and try and get, depending on what fuel load they're using or what they've got at the start of the race with. I think it might depend. I think it probably depends on how much fuel they've got.
Again, as you say, it's heavy fuel. Obviously, second, third, and now in pit. Second, third, and fourth are all in pit here. It seems they're all going to be paying all at the same time here. So they are slowly going down. Mick Comiskey now up into second place. Obviously, they haven't done their pits yet. As we see, though, as you were talking about fuel, I usually go probably half fuel, so I can do half the race. Because you don't want to go too heavy on fuel straight away. Because if you have a fuel stop, you may as well take it to your advantage and get a better top speed with more speed, or with less fuel, so you can get more speed and hopefully get better times and improve your position.
Yeah, absolutely. Excuse me, as I look at Jay Brooker as well, currently all by himself, and yeah, leading the silver class and up in fourth place overall. So a good run for him, and not really under attack from anyone. The next car behind him is about 6.5 seconds behind. So yeah, Jay's got plenty of room and a good gap behind him just to do his thing and not be under pressure.
Speaking of under pressure, though, we've got James Harry with Hexagon Nation putting pressure on Otton's in the Porsche of 21 there. Oh, as he goes wide there, going on the AstroTurf and going on the grass, and that's going to be the end of the race there for him. Not the end, well, the end of the battle, but it seems he managed to recover it pretty well, not being too far behind Harry. Hopefully, possibly going to get that place back on behalf of him. But for Harry, he just wants to pull away now. He's obviously still got a pit stop to do. All of the top 11 still have the pit stop to do. P17 also does. It seems a lot of people have done their pit stops now. This is where we're going to see the undercut starting to work, as we saw a lot of people doing it very early, making the undercut not going to work really, because the undercut's a very small margin. As we see Adam here, I think this is for position. This is for position, as Adam now he just flawlessly did that move there, as he hasn't actually done a pit stop. So in a way, that's a back market, but that was a great save there from Adam. That's going to put pressure on there. Derek trying to get past Dixon also now in the pit, so he's got such a gap that he should still, yeah, he has such a margin for, such a large margin for error gap that it doesn't really matter at this point. He's pretty clear at this rate.
Yeah, that's good. Absolutely. And yeah, Dixon coming out the pits now, and yeah, he'll probably come out round about P6, P7. So Miles Dixon has not lost that many positions. Obviously, people in front of him have still got to make pit stops as well. So he should, when the pit stops in front of him cycle out, he should be back up into the lead. And yeah, Miles Dixon as well, well ahead of Adam Asalovic as well. So yeah, a good pit stop from Miles.
Over a second. I feel like, yeah, now there's another drive through there for Mike Richards there. I have a feeling it's also the speed token. Unless it could be speeding in the pit lane though. Because that is one of the worst. Yeah, I don't know if it's as cruel as Spa here, but Spa is such a cruel, I guess you could say, yeah, penalty when it comes to speeding in the pit lane. I remember from the Spa 24 hours of Positive Perception, I think it was one team or a few teams got disqualified because of speeding in the pit lane, but the disqualification was lifted because it's quite a bug to rule that was. As we see, Nick is now in the pit as well, and I feel like that's everyone who's done their pit stops now, as we see a lot of support for a lot of different drivers there in YouTube chat. Got a few fled. Welcome to the chat. Thomas still here. Good to see you still. All supporting different drivers. It's great to see the support for drivers here. If you could subscribe, that would be great. Like the stream as well, obviously. More the merrier.
Yep, and they excuse me, looking at the battle for P15 and 16 and 17 and 18 as well. This battle, yeah, these cars have pretty much never been separated as pretty much since the early stage of the race. So after the pit stops as well, this pack, yeah, still relatively close together, and yeah, so not just battles up at the front, but further back in the field, and it's great to see. And I think yeah, it looks like someone else up at the front is making a pit stop as well. It looks like Tumarinen's making a pit stop from the lead of the AM class.
See, but everyone has now done or not everyone has done their pit stop. The top 5 have not done their pit stop. P9 has also not done their pit stop yet. I think that's everyone who hasn't done their pit stop yet. Liam Knott has obviously gained quite significantly with his undercut measure, currently in P15. I don't know what position he started in, but that doesn't matter anymore because this is the start of the race. Mark Raddenberry, the Positive Bosman, hasn't done his pit stop yet either. Obviously, we didn't do an interview with him because I completely forgot it went out of my head. But he's probably, knowing him, he usually does it, yeah, 20-minute mark, half-hour mark. So he is due for his pit stop. Same with the top 5. But it's all about just spreading out your thing. As we see a huge battle here. Mark Raddenberry getting a lot of pressure there from Miles Dixon. Miles Dixon just wanting to get past as quickly as possible. Adam has also gained a second on top of this because of Mark. I guess I don't want to say slowing him down, but he gets past just in the end. As it's not blue flags technically, so he doesn't have to. But Mark Raddenberry fighting it, the absolute boss man he is. Fighting for the position still. It's still got to go side by side into the fast left-hander here, but Mark is now just giving up that. But now, as it seems, there's a driver who's cleared for car 89, I think that was, or 86, one of the two. But it's now come to the start of the race. Last 20 minutes, we're still seeing a lot of action on track. But I feel like we can't actually predict it yet. But at the moment, the top 5 you predicted was pretty good. But as we see, there's a bit of there's also a spinning car there with I don't actually know what's happened there, but it seems James Jackson has waited. Ashley Copeland had a bit of contact there with James Jackson, but luckily James, knowing good, it seems outbreaking himself probably into the hairpin or trying to go for a move without a gap. Yeah, it seems Ashley Copeland did just get pit maneuvered there by James Jackson, but James Jackson did wait for Ashley Copeland. You love to see that. good to see when people actually follow the rules. Back on board with the boy Yoranomlo in Positive Perception V12 now. Currently got a bit of pressure there from Harry in the M class Lambo. Yeah, that's Hexagon Nation as well. A lot of those teams raced in the Positive Perception 24 hours as well, which is good to see them still doing season 9 as well. But I feel like Harry might be able to get past because it is basically old machinery versus new machinery here, as we see. But Joran will not let that go very easily, knowing his pace.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, indeed. As look at Harry coming across the line now, and just in front of him, he's got a Omlo as well in the V12 Aston Martin, and yeah, I have to say Omlo was doing up into the top 20 with the Aston Martin V12 as well. So a good run by him, not up at the front, but been picking off positions. And as well, the battle for P6 or P5 and P6, sorry, Roddenberry, they still got to make his pit stop, of course, so Adam should cycle up into P5, and then as soon as the top three, or sorry, the top three in front of him as well, pit, Adam should cycle back to P2 on track. So yeah, I think Adam might be feeling slightly frustrated that he could have challenged for the win he possibly felt, but I think Miles, when it comes to the pace, has just been absolutely phenomenal.
Can't wait for his Facebook post about this race. But 20 minutes left to go. There is not going to be Ranger in this session. It's going to be a nice clear day here in Suzuka, Japan. As we see now, Leighton Austin down to P10, but he has pitted, but everyone else has actually pitted as well. But apart from the top 3, as it seems, Mark and Mark are both in the pit now. I have a feeling they are sharing strategies. It seems Mark Cooper currently in the lead of the race, but he hasn't done his pit stop just yet. I have a feeling in the next lap he will do his pit stop. He is the only one so far not to do his pit stop. Seems this is the closest battle on track right now. Here's Matt Comiskey and Nathan Austin as we go back on board here with Harry. Harry's still trying to challenge Joran Omno, but Joran will not let this go very easily in the V12. Seems it's very difficult to tell because the Aston has a great top speed, but everything else is in benefit for the Lambo. So it's all down to balancing, because I don't know the pace difference between these two, but it's surely not that far apart. I feel like it might be in favor of Harry here a tiny bit, as he is on the back of Joran still. But it seems Joran is actually on the back. No, he's not on the back. I have a feeling that is traffic. He is on the back of Mark. I didn't doubt Mark at all. But Mark is out of pits now, as it seems he's came down into P18. But it seems now just a three-way battle once again. Now everyone has pitted, as we've seen once again. Carson does say who is leading in AM class, as we see. Carson is leading in AM class by quite the margin so far. Currently in P10 overall, as we see Mark Cooper still hasn't pitted yet, which is he might be doing the last minute pit strat, which the tyres I don't think that's the greatest idea, but he probably knows best for this race. But this Carson is leading in. Hang on, yeah. So Nick Carson is leading in. This is confusing me now. But Carson is leading in AMS, but your name's also Carson, but it's a different Carson.
Indeed, this battle comes through turn 1 and 2, and Mark coming through the S's now as well, and just not too far behind is Austin and Sam. We've got an incident for Harry as well.
Harry has just probably lost it a tiny bit, but it seems he's trying to get past Joran going into the spoons. Didn't leave enough space there, but it seems I think that is just a racing incident at its best, to be honest. No one's really at to blame for that. But that's going to put damage for both of them, which is not going to help. But Harry, back at it once again, challenging Russell Matthewson in the Hex car here. Will he do his interesting moves again, or is he just going to be able to fly by, as he has been able to in the past? Seems he is going to be in favour of the slipstream so far. But it's not going to be enough down to spoons unless he's going to try to do a sneaky little dive bomb going into spoons, which is always a dangerous move, as we've seen just a second ago. I feel like he's just going to leave it for turn 1. But it seems no, he might be able to just get a good exit here going into straight, going into the fast left-hander. But no, it seems Russell gets the better outcome here. But obviously the slipstream is in favour of Harry, as no one's in front of Russell in a second, or in 7 seconds even. But it's going to be close. I have a feeling it might happen into turn 1 here. But they're obviously both very quick drivers going into the chicane now. It's just between 2/10 of a second here. It seems Russell gets a better exit here. This might be in favour. Or Russell still going into turn 1 into the straight, but it seems he is slowly creeping there, Harry, onto Russell. But it seems Russell is safe for now, as I don't think Harry will make a move into there realistically anytime soon.
Yeah, he's just not close enough to make a move, and it just seems to be every time they get onto the home straight, Russell gets a great run, and Harry just can't get close enough to make a move heading down to turn 1. But he's closer. He's actually close through the S's, so I wonder if Harry's maybe just carrying a little bit, maybe a little bit more downforce, or a little bit more wing to help through the S's.
100%. And I also agree with Nick Carson in track saying McQuillan, sorry, is very rapid today. He is definitely probably driver of the day. Definitely probably it shouldn't stay in the same word, but we'll go with it. But yeah, he's been absolutely rapid today. He's also had very good racecraft, so he's been quite safe as well. Even though his his moves have been quite a hero move, shall we say. Back on board with Joran. You're creating a train now. I think that's a four-car train, like Comiskey, or it's like James Jackson even, right at the back of it. So it's Joran Onlo, Harry, Ricardo, and then it goes. Oh, wait, yeah, and then it's also Andy Hustling. I have not heard of that name today. I think the only American driver on the grid. It's a very European-dominated game. It's like, of course, competition there, but it's good to see some Americans because it's probably going to be pretty early for them, probably not early afternoon. So it's usually when a lot of people are in work doing this, but it's good to see a few US people in this race.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always good to see a variety of nationalities in the series as well, and yeah, like you say, good to see some Americans in the series as well. Obviously, over there, depending on what part of America, it can be early morning or mid afternoon. So good to see some Americans in the series as well, giving it a go. And as you see this battle coming out of the hairpin, and I think Olmo might be holding up his pack slightly as it's starting to get a little bit bigger. But as we've got about coming up to just under 14 minutes left in the race, I think this is the stage of the race where you'll see drivers start trying to make moves towards the end of the race and trying to pick up more positions. But as we look at the battle between the P5 and P6 still going on, Leighton still not be able to get by. But I think his best opportunity could be on the home straight. He's maybe just hanging around or waiting behind just to try and plan what he's going to do with regards to making a move.
100% agree here. As we see a lot of people are watching once again, I insist you to I encourage you to subscribe and like this channel. Every support helps the channel. Obviously, it's still a growing channel. 245 subscribers so far, as I can see. You still see Leighton Austin going at it with Mike Comiskey. I think it is the closest battle on track currently. Leighton is in favour in pace, as we've seen in the past, but Matt Comiskey doesn't crack under pressure that badly, as I've seen since season 8. Seems he is starting to drive away a bit though, Matt Comiskey, but Leighton having quite a good drive so far. Leighton started in, I think it was P10, he started in P10, P8, no 2, but I feel like there is going to be a battle brewing between these two. Oh, there's an Aston on there in the way, and the Aston Martin Formula livery there. It's going to help Leighton quite a lot here, it seems, because the traffic has held him up. Seems, it's going to be quite close into here. Obviously, we've got a back marker as well. It seems there is going to be. This is not going to be good. Yeah, but it seems Matt is managing to hold on to it for now. The Aston Martin getting clear out of the way of this because he does not want to be responsible for any accidents during this. But we've seen some great battles today, even if some of them have been a little bit dirty. Some of them have been great to watch. So we're now on with Mark Cooper, who has actually done his pit stop now, challenging James Jackson. Once again, we've seen a lot of James Jackson today. Been quite a lot today, but it's been his race, to be honest. I think he started P20-ish. But it's, yeah, definitely been his race today. He's quite a long time positive perception driver. And obviously, Mark Cooper also a positive perception driver and admin as well. Pixley also behind them, as we just see James Jackson has got the speed token penalty, which is, I feel like I have just done the commentator curse to him. I feel so bad. But yeah, just don't get track cuts and that. But I have a feeling, yeah, that is commentator curse for us, but it was bound to happen sometimes. Andy Hustling back going side by side here into turn 1 here with Ricardo here, someone who was also in Spa 24 hours as well. Seems Andy gets past quite swiftly there. We're going into the last 10 minutes now, well, roughly 10 minutes. It's been definitely quite a great race. Everyone's starting to split up a tiny bit now, but it's still very close as we see. Miles Dixon is kind of starting to overlap people. Not as many people as I thought he was going to overlap, but there's an 8-second gap between those two. But Leighton Austin now challenging Matt Comiskey once again for P5. Will he be able to do it by the end of the race? Because it's been a very on and off, let's say, what's it called, battle. But it seems he's going to have the slipstream here, but he's not going to be able to reach into turn 1 there. But he might have a go on the back straight going to Spoons if he can continue this gain of momentum so far. Seems like he is currently in favour, but Matt Comiskey is going to get held up by traffic there of Thomas in the Ferrari Oops car. Also another Ferrari Oops car behind them as well. Oops being UPS being the least of my favourite delivery services. Oh, Matt gets a bit close there, and it's going to be side by side once again, going into turn 6, 7, and 8. I think it's just going to be easy for Leighton there, and I think Matt's not going to be happy with himself there as we're in a Ferrari sandwich now.
Yeah, I think just ran wide through that left-hander and just lost that position. But as you see there, basically pretty much say it's the McLaren stuck in a Ferrari sandwich with the 3 Ferraris around him. But I think, yeah, it's just going to be one of those things. I think he's going to have to keep an eye on his mirror now and make sure he doesn't lose any more positions, because it looks like Van der Strauss is a quick driver, and I think if he senses an opportunity, he might try and send it into the chicane, or maybe try and get a run down the home straight heading down to turn 1. And he's got Van der Strauss. He's got his teammate. That's his teammate behind him, but I think he's a lap down, I believe.
Yeah, I think he is. Yes, you are 100% right. Michael de Groot currently at P29. And his teammate, I think, is in P7, actually battling that as we're on board with Jay Bricker going at Duchenne there for P8. I've only just realised the top 5 are all Ferraris. That says something about the car around this track and how strong it is, which is, it's good to have a dominant car around this track, but it's always not the greatest to see so many of the same cars. We did see the McLarens at Spa, but that is what it is. That's QNOS's BOP system for you for now. Hopefully it does become a lot more balanced as it is in real life, but it's all down to, I guess, driver as well. But it seems Jay Brooker might be able to make a move. No, he's nowhere near, actually. I was looking at the wrong camera angle there. But yeah, he might be able to make a move coming into the last laps, but at the moment he's not anywhere near a close enough gap to make a move. But we also see that Ferrari Carson, who's had quite a good race as well, I say. But Harry, I've only just realised Harry's up into P3 now, starting P8, going in P3 with some ultra battles. He's done pretty well so far for himself. But is he going to have enough time to try battle Adam P2 as well? But as we see side by side, just juking him there, Jay Bricker. trying to get a movement there from Dushan, but Dushan does not budge or flinch one bit going into the hairpin. We might see a repeat of history here, but I hope it could be a bit smoother, but it seems it's just Dushan's just coping with pressure quite well so far, but currently side by side now, going down into spoons as I can't see anything just yet. But J Brook is still just getting ahead there. But final laps, screw that. He did that in 8 turns. Great to see.
Yeah, that was a great move. And yeah, Brooker, I think he was setting that up for a long, pretty much planning that for a long time and managed to get the position. And yeah, great move by Brooker. And up into 8th place now, Brooker leading the silver class. So yeah, been a great drive by him. And he's got Carson, the arm leader, behind him. So I wonder if Carson might try and make a move as well. And I think actually, I take that back. It's a BMW that's behind Brooker. So I was looking at, I was thinking about, I thought Carson was behind him, but it's Vojinovic currently down in 9th place overall and in the pro class. So I think Dustin, I think if he gets a run, he might try and make a move. But I think if you're Brooker, you've got to act sensible and think about the silver class lead because he's in a good position overall, but also leading his class.
100%. I have a feeling he might be promoted to silver this season. If we've seen it a couple times where drivers put themselves as arms, but are significantly faster. He might even be able to go into the pro category, as he would currently be second in silver category as well. I have a feeling he will be moving pretty soon, as we see Thomas now putting more pressure on Mike Comiskey. Mike Comiskey has lost a place to Leighton and might lose a place to Thomas as well. Thomas just being less than 3 tenths between them both, going into the straight just before spoons. Now we might see another turn 1 overtake, because obviously the Ferrari is a lot more powerful here, and this we could see a top 7, top 6, all of Ferraris if Matt Comiskey does well, if Thomas makes the move on Matt Comiskey. But it seems Matt Comiskey is struggling a tiny bit going into spoons. Seems he gets an all right exit though, but it seems Thomas gets a better one. Seems the gap is now just down to still 3 tenths of a second, going into the fast left-hander once again for one of the final times of the race. Still 4 minutes left of the race. Is it going to be enough time though for Thomas to get P6?
Yeah, Thomas looks like he's got a good run in the exit of the chicane, and if he might be able to try and make a move heading down to turn 1, but that McLaren in a straight line is absolutely quick, and just ahead of them they've got one of the Ferraris, it's Austin just in front of them, but I think Austin's got a decent enough gap to not worry about these two guys, and I think if these two behind him start scrapping away, that's going to allow Austin the opportunity to pull away, and they just build a bit of a gap and to hold on to that 5th place as they come through the S's now. And yeah, Van der Strauss definitely closing up through the S's, and I think maybe a lot more feels a lot more confident, can carry more speed. And I think maybe I wonder if that McLaren they maybe having to look after the tyres.
It could be that, but it's only 3 minutes left, so he may as well just ruin the tyre so far. Thomas is all over the back here of Matt Comiskey. We might definitely see a move very soon, but I feel like this could be the last lap battle kind of thing, as we were talking about earlier. But it seems, yeah, Thomas definitely has the advantage in pace in sectors, but we see him spin out. He touches the grass and going into the hairpin and spins out there. That is a moment ruiner there, and that is going to secure Matt Comiskey in P6 for now without any risks there. He is going to be so annoyed with himself there, Thomas. Thomas will definitely not be able to gain that much time in 3 minutes, but you never know. The impossible could be possible. Dushan here, again, pressure here from Simon Carson. A P9, which would be, yeah, he would be in pro class. He would be closer to 7th or 8th in pro class as well. So I feel like he might be upgraded from AMS to pro class very soon. Simon as well. But Dushan seeming to pull away once again. But is Simon going to play the long game and wait for him to maybe crack under pressure? But it's still quite a big gap, so we might not see anything just yet.
Yeah, I think if you're Carson, I think you play the sensible thing and just I know not every driver likes to do it, but set up for the position where he is and not do anything silly. He's got the AM class lead. He's the next car in the AM class is well behind him, so he doesn't need to worry. And he's got a decent enough gap behind him, about 9.8 seconds, so he's not under any pressure.
You see, the Aston Martin once again is maybe. Oh, he's flashing his lights once again. The Ferrari is not going to be happy as he blocks once again, trying to get past this. Simon gets blocked, and unfortunately, he's going to lose quite a lot of time from the Aston Martin as back traffic here. And it seems the Aston Martin isn't being very predictable, but he does let it go, and it is all fine for now. But he has lost quite a bit of time there to Dushan, and it's going to be very difficult to get that time back in 1 minute and 30 seconds, as I think we're on the penultimate lap now, or it could be the final. I think it's the penultimate lap. But obviously, I don't think 2 laps is going to be enough, as we see Miles Dixon here going onto the last 2-3 corners until he goes onto the final lap. Hopefully going to take his second win for the round 9 thing. But round 9. Ugh. Not round 9. Season
Round
9,
two.
round 2. It's been a long day. Positive Perception GT Championship. But it seems Mike Richards is not done just yet. Trying to go on Hustings once again. On the Hustings, it seems he might be fine at this rate, but it depends if Andy can keep it. It seems Andy is losing a lot of time there. Mike Richards. Mike Richards also being quite low down because of his drive-through earlier. But Carson won't play the sensible game. Yeah, I've not watched Carson race before. I think I have watched Carson race before. But yeah, he probably won't play the sensible game, because I feel like a lot of drivers, when they're so close to another position, will do that. As we're on to the final lap now, Miles Dixon has just going into sector 2 now, but it's all to play for still between these two drivers. Mike Richards putting a lot of pressure down on Hustings, as we see. Simon Carson has made a lot of time there on Dushan. Everything I said was completely wrong, but there might be a bit of impatience from Carson, as Nick Carson was saying in YouTube chat just a second ago. It could be all down to the final few corners between these two. Dushan just needs to defend for his life, basically, from Simon Carson, but it might be a bit too late. It's all about the weighing game now. Just a few more corners, 2 more sectors to go between them two.
Absolutely, yeah, we're on the final lap of the race, and Miles Dixon, I think, yeah, he's well, just started the final lap, or in the middle of the final lap, I believe. So, yeah, I think, yeah, Miles Dixon pretty much not really being under any pressure, and it's been a commanding drive by him. But as this battle for 9th and 10th goes on at the moment, I think Simon's not going to do anything too silly, but I think Dustin, if he makes a mistake, Simon might take the opportunity to try and take that overall position. But yeah,
Well,
it's
as
been
we
an
see,
issue.
Joran Omlo having a bit of contact there, but we're going to ignore that for a second. And Miles Dixon takes round 2 of the Season 9 Positive Perception GT Championship, putting him 2 wins to 0 losses so far in the Season 9. But we are going to go back to a replay of this incident after we've seen the glory moment there. It seems it was just I think there might have been a tiny bit of contact there from Joran, as he seems to slow down. But Miles has won the race. Congratulations to him for his second win. Second place is also crossed the line. Third place, fourth place, all crossed the line so far. Very close between them, I guess you could say, but Miles did gap them by 11 seconds. But silver class winner coming across the line right now, Jay Brecker, going into the final corner now, going to secure himself first in the silver class winner, as we see Simon Carson here. First place for the AM class, which I smell a promotion there for him going to either pro class or silver class. But Mark Cooper, silver class, I think it was 4th, 3rd place. Harry just going a bit wide there going into the sprint, as we see, from the McLaren of, I think it was Derek. But he's P2 currently, and I think he's definitely going to get P2 at this rate, as we go into the final few corners, as we see apparently a last corner lunge, which has happened. A lot of drivers become very impatient because obviously if you place the car right, you're not going to be able to get past. Well, they're not going to get past that easily without it being.
Oh,
As we see a spin there. Oh, that is shocking. Seems Derek has just lost 20th place. For it seems a little spin there. It didn't seem to be any contact between them. As he's pretty much see everyone's about to cross the line. It seems Derek, after his little spin, Mike the Richards, but that would be an achievement in itself if he managed to be able to. Obviously, the next race will be 2 weeks from now, not next week. It's always a fortnight after each other. If you've enjoyed this race, please make sure to subscribe and like. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to 300 subs on the Positive Perception channel. I have been Alex Newman / Taylor, also known as Aces on the Discord, joined with fellow commentator Ryan Walker, and this has been the Positive Perception's comms teams for round 2. Any final words there, Ryan?
yeah, Imola in 2 weeks. Another fantastic track, another favourite track of mine on the ACC, and again, I think that should provide great racing with the tight nature of the track and the tight confines. It should provide great racing like we've seen tonight here at Suzuka.
Of course, and we'll obviously see you next week. Goodbye.